today or tonight, depending on when you're watching this, I'm going to unbox and take a look at Magic the Gathering's Murders at Karlov Manor. This is a pre-release that was just came out this weekend, or the previous weekend by the time I'm going to post this. And it's the latest set for Magic the Gathering, and it is kind of a different kind of theme. It's a murder mystery theme. In fact, I think along with the release of this set, they are releasing a Murders at Karlov Manor Clue game that is your basic Clue game, that classic game, Cluedo, and it's going to have magic cards in it. So I think like the wrench and the rope and the knife and all that will be actually magic cards. And I think Colonel Mustard's going to have a card, and maybe the rest of them are going to have it as well. If you, some of the cards that are in this set that are playable magic cards, I've already seen some of them in some of the packs that I've opened up, but maybe we'll see some in this pre-release as well. So let's look at this and see what we got here. This is your typical pre-release that you usually buy. I picked this up at my friendly local gaming store, and you get this as part of a pre-release. I bought this separately. I was not in town for the pre-release. I was at a swim meet for my oldest daughter and a dance competition for my youngest daughter, so I missed the pre-release. But I picked one of these up anyway. So you have this here. You have this little tab here to rip this open. Let's see what we have here. Ooh, and look at that. It says, track the clues, crack the case. And so clue tokens have been around for a while, and some sets have dabbled with them. This set is going to lean into them very hard. Clues are going to be a big part of this set, and a main feature in the playability of the cards. So Tessa Karlov is dead. So that is our murder mystery, right? I imagine she's going to be the victim in the Clue game as well. I don't know as much about that. So you get a little box there, a little box to hold the cards. Unfortunately, if you're doing Commander, this will not hold a Commander deck, but I think it can hold a 60-card standard deck, possibly. We have some tokens here as well, and this is going to be some of the new features in this deck. As I said, we're going back to clues in a heavy way in this set, and we're also going to have some new mechanics in this. There's a kind of a morph mechanic. They're bringing back morph, but it's going to be a little bit different. It's disguise, and so it's morph with a ward of 2. So that's going to be a little bit different. Here's another one of the new mechanics is suspected. And basically when a creature is suspected, it gains menace. That's a positive, right? But it can't block. So you can only attack with it, but it does gain menace. So that is suspected. And then you've got this case solved here. There is, they've kind of done a new twist on sagas, and now they're cases. And you don't advance them like a saga, but you advance them as you solve the case. It's going to have an effect when it comes into the play. Then there's going to be a requirement to solve it. And then once it's solved, and you have to meet that condition, and then once it's solved, it has an ongoing effect. So you have an initial effect and then a ending effect. So it's kind of reminds me a little bit of Adventures, but it's also kind of a saga, but it stays on the board. So interesting aspect there. So those are some tokens you get there. I'll punch out these tokens later because I always keep everything. But there you see some art in there. If we can get to it here. There is Tessa Karlov is dead. So there you have it. See a little box there, and we'll pop out those tokens later. Here's what you came for, though, is the cards that are in here. You get this nice little box here, and pop that open. It's got a little bit of a lip to hold it together, but you get a die. So there is a 20-sider there, and there is the symbol for Karlov Manor, as you can see there. What else do we get in this? We get, there's the box there. I think there's some pre-release deck information there. Put that over here. We get a little spacer or divider, and they come in different colors, but I use those. Actually use those in kind of the bundle boxes to kind of divide cards up and put different sets and different decks in those. Here is the promo we get here, which is Krinko's Buzz Crusher. So it's an artifact creature, insect thopter. That's kind of different. So it's going to be a foil. Let's see what else we get in this deck here. If I can crack it open. And we've got, Voya, Jaws of the Conclave. Interesting card there. It's a wolf. Looks like this is a mythic. So, and then we've get, these are some of those new tokens, suspected, case solved, and stuff like that. And then we get a code there. I ship those off to my son because he uses those on Magic Arena. So there you have that. You also get 6 booster packs, and with this set, we no longer have the distinction between the set booster and the draft booster. We just have play boosters. So it's either the best of both worlds or the worst of both worlds, depending on which Dickens you're reading there. But anyway, I don't know. But there's the 6 things. Let's open up a couple of these and see what we got in here. We're here. We might as well see what we get, and we might talk a little bit about some of the cards that you get in this deck to see that. So that's the symbol you can see here. This is a common. Detective is now a new creature. I don't know if they're going to go back. There's some cards that in the past that probably should have been called Detective. I don't know if they're going to go back and redo those, kind of like what they did with Phyrexians. But so you now have you can have a tribal detective thing going on now, and this is another new mechanic is collect evidence, and basically the way you collect evidence, it says here in the parentheses. Exile cards with a total mana value of 6 or greater from your graveyard. And so if you collect evidence 6, this is an additional cost to cast this. So you have to collect evidence 6. That's exile cards with a total mana value of 6. I've been in some debates with my son on this, but I'm not a big fan of evidence. I mean, you're throwing cards away for, as a cost of the card. So it better be a pretty doggone good card, in my opinion. So you're exiling it. So if you're playing a graveyard deck, then you're throwing them away. You can't use them. It basically is just throwing out the trash. So I don't know. Maybe I don't understand this mechanic as well, and maybe you all will enlighten me. But my first impression is I'm not a huge fan of that. But there's a lot of mechanics that play around with that. Is collecting evidence, and it's thematic. It fits with the theme in this deck here. There's another collect evidence there. See, I'm not seeing anything special here on any of the new mechanics. There's probably going to be a lot of investigation. Here is one of those cases I was telling you about. This is a colorless case, kind of interesting. 2 colorless mana. You see here when this case enters the battlefield, search your library for a basic land card, reveal it, and put it in your hand. So that's what happens when this card gets played. So you pay 2 mana and you find a card. So, all right. Then to solve this, there are 5 colors among permanents you control. So this definitely has to be in a multicolor deck, 5 colors in order to solve this. And then once it's solved, at the beginning of combat on your turn, target creature you control gains flying, double strike, and vigilance until the end of the until the end of the turn. That's pretty powerful. So you get to pull a land, but you have to have 5 colors on the board, and then you get all this flying, double strike, and vigilance. So that's pretty nice little feature here, but this is only would go in a 5-color deck here. Double strike time. Here's Disguise. This is that new feature where you may cast this card face down for 3 mana. That's typical morph. It's a 2/2 creature. Again, morph, but morph with ward. So this is it has ward 2. So it'll be a face down creature with ward 2. Protecting it, and then you can pay the disguise cost and flip it over for its regular card cost. So it only costs 1 less to do that. So there's actually a pre-con commander deck that plays around with disguise, but this is kind of a new twist on the old morph concept there. And here is our rare here, and it is kind of a copy card here. Kind of reenact the crime. And you're going to see the theme in this whole deck is crime and suspects and investigation. Oh, there's one of the new full color mountains or full frame. Pretty cool looking mountain there. There's the detectives. That's there's going to be tokens that create detectives. And so yeah, it's all about crime and clues and cases and investigate. And of course, investigate gets you clue tokens, and clue tokens let you draw. So there's going to be quite a bit of drawing and artifacts, because clue tokens are artifacts and the like. And then you got disguise, which again is kind of thematic in this whole mystery type situation. So from a thematic standpoint, the set is relatively tight. But I mean, it's a new set, so the jury's still out. And you see what I did there? The jury's still out on whether how playable it is. There's Private Eye, so you're going to get a lot of cards that other detectives you control. So here's basically a detective anthem. Other detectives you control get +1/+1. So that's a must if you're playing detective. And blue and white have a lot of the detectives, or play a lot around. Like here's a Velkin detective right there. That's collecting evidence. Also, this deck, this set has a lot of surveil. In fact, one of the pre-con commanders plays a lot with surveil, or does a lot with surveilling, and so that concept's coming back in a big way in this set as well. And there is my rare that I get here. That could wipe out a lot of clue tokens that someone's been saving up. And then you got an art card. So unlike set boosters used to all have an art card and draft boosters did not. Well, this is kind of random now. Some set cards are going to have an art booster. Play boosters are going to have an art card. Some are not. So that is that's the way that that's the way the cookie crumbles. That's the way the play booster is going to work. So we got a little token there. These are these punch-out tokens. Some people don't like those. Of course, I collect everything. Let's just get right to the good stuff here. So that's kind of a cool-looking full art card there. So you got Surveil there going on. And we got Assassin's Trophy. So it's kind of a cool-looking card there. You got the double cards. They got those coming back. I think each of the last few sets have done a lot of the double cards there. Here's an elf detective. Detectives are not only in blue and white. Here's a green detective here. So you got elf tribal, druid tribal, and detective tribal. Got a lot of tribal going on there. I always like tribal. They also have these cards here that looks like a case file. Kind of your police case file, or your detective Sam Spade type case file type stuff. And so some of the cards come in this art print, which is kind of cool, and again thematic as well. There's a Gorgon Assassin, Auspicious Arrival. So cool art, very thematic on most of this. But that's what we're playing with. And so there's 4 pre-cons. in this. One, as I said, deals a lot with surveil and has a lot of. There's a lot of interesting reprints in these pre-cons. Some high dollar reprints too. But one of them does surveil and does with surveil, put stuff in the graveyard. So there's going to be a lot of reanimate and recursion and stuff like that. So that deck is really big on that. There's another deck that's really big on the skies, so that whole morph aspect of flipping stuff up and down. There's another deck that is really big on clue tokens. Imagine that. It's all about creating clue tokens and using those clue tokens. In fact, one of the cards turns those clue tokens into 6/6 creatures. So, and then there's the fourth one is I can't recall what the fourth one is. I got to think about that one. But those are. I think the general's consensus so far is that the surveil one is probably with the graveyard play is probably the best one out of the box right now. But I don't have them yet, so I cannot comment on that. So there's some other cards here, and there's that rope. So did it in the rope. I don't know if we have a conservatory or anything. Here's the rare here, 10th District Hero. You collect evidence. This is all about that collecting evidence and using the abilities there. And there's a dog and that cute little dog token there. So anyway, got a couple more left here, and then we will be done with this pack. I just want to give you a taste of this. If you guys have already done your pre-releases and played and got cards, let me know what your thoughts are and what you think about this set. There's the art card there. Let's get right to the good stuff. The forest, the foil, and there we go. Aurelia, the law above. Pretty interesting rare there. Flying, vigilance, haste. It's a Boros angel. Get some card draw there. Get some stuff going on there. It's a pretty interesting card. Then we got a Wisp Drinker Vampire. Look at that. Pretty cool. Vampire Rogue. Convenient Target. So, interesting cards. Demand answers. Again, there's a lot of this, interrogations and demand answers, and a lot of stuff that goes with the theme of this this whole set of detectives and crimes and investigations and mysteries afoot. There's a clue. How appropriate. There's a full art planes. There's a foil, a phantom foil. There's another case here. Here's a rare case, the case of the Ransacked Lab. So when you play this, you're going to instance and sorcery spells you cast cost one less, so basically a discount. To solve it, you have to have 4 or more instant spells you have to have cast 4 or more instant and sorcery spells. And then once it's solved, whenever you cast your instant or sorcery spell, you draw a card. So, this might be good in a spell slinger deck. I mean, it's going to give you some cost reduction, and once you solve it, and if you're really slinging a lot of spells, you should be able to solve this, and then you've got a card draw built into it. So not a bad little card here. Here's a land, a Lush Portico. It's a tap land, but it allows you to surveil. So they have a lot of these lands that allow you to surveil. So this is a forest and a plains. Kind of cool there for that, because you can actually fetch that with that. It's not a basic land, but you can fetch a forest or fetch a plains if the card allows you to. Here's some more investigation. And here's a case of the Burning Mass. Again, you've got comes on the board, how you solve it, and then solve what continuing effect you get. Now, this continuing effect is you sacrifice this, and then you get that effect. So, some of these cases don't linger around the board. So there you have it. You got a few, not as much, a lot of multicolored cards in this set that I can tell, and not as many artifacts in this set. But that's just the way it is. So you got a goblin here, a goblin citizen. Look at that. And there you have it. So that is what I got. There's a land escape tunnel. That is what I got in Murders at Karlov Manor, the pre-release. I don't know. So far, I'm curious about this. I'm inquisitive about this. I need to investigate further. Anyway, thanks all for stopping by. Love to know your thoughts on it. Take care. Thanks for watching.